Hello and welcome back, guys, to another video on my channel. My name is Tinnitus Coach Frida, and today I have a special video for you after I've talked about tinnitus and loneliness in last week's video, which you can watch just up here. Today I want to talk about tinnitus and explaining it to friends and family. And because we talked about loneliness in the last episode, I want to talk about how to communicate your experience of tinnitus with the people that most matter to you, because that really matters in your whole habituation process. And therefore, that's the topic we're going to get into today. Welcome. So if you felt like you don't want to yet again talk about your tinnitus to your friends or your family, because for the thousandth time, you're going to feel like people will say, aha, I'm sorry to hear that. But they don't really truly understand what it's like to go through this. And, you know, people will sometimes say, oh, come on, can you just let it go already? I mean, you've talked to me so many different times about this, and can we just talk about something else, please? And you don't want to feel this feeling of, neediness, etc. So I totally get that. And that's something that happened with me as well. So, you know, although to the outside, you basically do not talk to tinnitus anymore, but on the inside, everything is burning. And I know that gap, right, between what's inside you and what you display to the outside, that's the real pain of experiencing tinnitus. So tinnitus often feels us like we're trapped inside our own head, right? We hear a noise that no one else can hear. We have a reaction to it. Sometimes it disturbs our quality of sleep. Sometimes it's really difficult for us to get any kind of work done, etc., or to calm down. So it's you can't really show it to anyone, and that's such a big frustration. Of course, you can show a YouTube video with a tone that is close to the tinnitus that you're experiencing, but in the end, they will never know what it feels like to wake up in the middle of the night with this dreadful anxiety of not being able to fall back asleep because of your tinnitus, of having to do anything in order to avoid this, to not be able to hear and perceive it the whole time and not always be anxious about it. So, you know, they will never understand because they don't have it. I do understand because I have it already for a very long time, but today we want to talk about not how to make me understand, because I understand and I understand you as well, but today we want to talk about how to make other people understand, right? What people can understand, however, they might not be able to understand tinnitus because they don't have tinnitus, or maybe they only have this temporary tinnitus that all of us get after a concert, for example. But, while they might not always understand the sound, and they might not understand what the sound is about and what it sounds like, etc., but they absolutely do understand the feelings. And here's where it gets interesting. So we do believe that no one knows what tinnitus feels like if they don't have tinnitus, but that's not completely right. Everyone, because we're human beings, and I mean, if you didn't marry an alien, let me just check. Stefania, are you an alien? Okay, she's not an alien. Just wanted to make sure she's not an alien, so my wife's not an alien. Those are human feelings, right? Everyone can feel anxious. Everyone can feel sad. Everyone can feel depressed about their tinnitus or about other things in their life. So while they might not be relating to what it feels like to constantly be going through this, they can most likely, more than you like to think, relate to what kind of feeling landscape you're going through. And if you talk to them not only about your tinnitus, but as tinnitus is a whole body experience, then that's where connection can happen and they can finally realize what you're actually struggling with. So, and after we've now established that, I mean, at least my wife is not an alien, so she will understand if I have human feelings, and if I'm going through them, I can talk to her about her relating to what I'm going through. Instead of saying, like, for example, my tinnitus is loud today, which is quite unspecific, try saying like, putting it in words like, I feel really drained and tense today because my tinnitus has been hard to handle, right? Or it's not that I don't want to join the activity or whatever you're planning on doing, but I just need a little bit of downtime for me, right? I set some boundaries because I'm integrating this and this is difficult for me. So you see the difference? You're describing how you feel, not what they cannot hear. So in doing that, you actually are able to communicate what you're going through without constantly saying like, oh my God, da, 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 which no one can really help you with, right? But if you are able to describe the feelings that you're having, people can validate that and they can assert you that they're with them and with you, in fact. So the more you do that, the less alone you'll feel with your tinnitus. And people start responding to your emotions, not to your tinnitus sound. And why is this so important? Because connection can heal. And connection can be an integral part of your tinnitus journey. And when you feel understood, then your nervous system can finally relax, because your nervous system say it's okay to have the experience that I'm having. It is difficult, but it is okay. And when you can connect with someone that gets it and understands, then that's an antidote to this constant fight or flight that you're in because of your tinnitus. And when the brain finally feels safe, we already talked about this a lot of times, habituation comes when the brain feels it's safe to experience tinnitus but no longer be bothered by it, then tinnitus tends to fade into the background, slowly but steadily. And this is so important, why I again want to share with you why I created mytinnitus.club. I created mytinnitus.club because I know that even if friends and family are there for you and they start understanding your experience, it is a good idea to sometimes carry your difficulty into another space where you can fully lean into it, to start integrating it, to work on your process of habituation, but where you're not bothering your friends and family. You can still talk to them about your experience, but you're not directly bothering and influencing them with what you're going through. So if you do want a space where you're not alone, where you're guided through a 12 weeks program together with other people from all over the world, then check us out at mytinnitus.club. So, you know, just hanging out with people who are going through the same path can be incredibly powerful. So if you want to try it out, check it out, and we'd be internally happy to have you there. The final part of my message is, if you feel like you are the only one who experiences this, and that's why you're keeping it inside, because you think no one will understand, then try again, but this time talk about how you feel. And you might be surprised about how many people actually understand what you're going through. And if you feel like you've talked about your tinnitus enough with friends and family, yeah, I get you, 100%, then you might want to consider joining us at mytinnitus.club to not be so alone with it anymore. Thank you for letting me know what you thought about this video in the comments, whether it helps you to experience and share your experience of tinnitus with your friends and family. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, whether it was helpful for you, and I hope to see you very soon again. Check my free 4-day course to tinnitus habituation out under habituate.online. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.